as playful Twitter banter by Ugandan military boss and President Museveni's son, Muhoozi, I hope I pronounced that correctly today, had by last evening thrust Nairobi and Kampala into an awkward diplomatic role as Kenya's High Commissioner in Kampala and Uganda's Foreign Affairs Ministry, of course, carried to extinguish the fires of the threat by Muhoozi to run over, quote-unquote, Nairobi in 2 weeks. Now, you see that story, more of it, on pages 2 and 3. Simba, that is taking center stage. You know how what that means, actually. His picture is really vividly on the front page of the Daily Nation. However, more on this particular Daily Nation, stories, we're seeing the issue around the National Assembly still taking center stage this morning. If I read that headline, Wetangula to rule on House majority fight, and they're given a breakdown on the coalitions in numbers. We're seeing 179. Kenya Kwanza's tally includes 9 members of parliament from UDM. And of course, we're seeing MDG, who have since allied themselves with the alliance, and 158 Azimio, total number of members of parliament from the Azimio La Umoja, One Kenya side that is associated with Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. Quite interesting there. You can see the difference in colors just to show you what that means. And the issue Speaker Moses Wetangula has to rule on is that members of parliament are divided on who between President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga has the majority of elected members in parliament. Now, so far, Azimio claims outright majority and rejects the defections of 9 members of parliament from UDA, UPIA, and MDG to the Ruto camp. So we're still looking at how difficult this is for Wetangula now as the National Assembly. The 13th Assembly is quite an interesting one as far as the battle of supremacy is concerned. Those are pretty much the stories taking center stage on the front page of the Daily Nation. Before I go deeper into it, Simba, how about the Standard this morning?
Pretty much around the same headlines as well. On pages 8 and 9, you're going to find the story on how there are now divided opinions on the GMO, a declaration that was made by President William Ruto's current cabinet. By the way, if you saw the cabinet that sat to make that decision, it is a cabinet for the president, for the former president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, who sat down and made this decision for us to go back to importing and growing GMO food in the country. This is the headline, opinions split on a cabinet's GMO ban lift. So reading that story on pages 8 and 9. But then the bigger story also on the Standard this morning is how there's a deadlock in a Ruto and Raila power battle. Let me just read for you what the elephant in the room is. It is whether whether the Azimio coalition is a party or not. This is what Kimani Ichung'wah talked about it yesterday. There was a heated debate yesterday in the National House on this particular one. The registrar of political parties allowed for Azimio to field individual candidates. There was only one candidate that ran as Azimio candidate complete with the emblem, and that was Raila Odinga and his running mate, Martha Karua. They continue to say Azimio party is not a coalition. That's according to Kimani Ichung'wah. Then there was Opiyo Wanani who said, upon the confirmation by the registrar of political parties and the law, the speaker is expected to convey that Azimio is the majority party. Any other thing is nothing but hot air. As far as we are concerned, Azimio is both a coalition and a coalition party. We see those dissenting views really on those two sides as well. That's exactly what the National House Speaker, that is Moses Wetangula, is going to be faced with tomorrow as he makes that landmark ruling of whether indeed the Azimio coalition party, that is according to Opiyo Wanani then, is the majority in the National House. So all eyes on Wetangula tomorrow in the National House. By the way, again, the interesting headline, they're going to read that story on page 4. Tweeting General stirs Nairobi, Kampala ties. the question whether is it going to bring on something. Ankey, like you've said, it's all play until somebody's eye is hurt.
Yes, for sure. And of course, you want to read more of that in the dailies. It's also trending when we get to what's trending on, this very morning on Twitter.
Yeah.
But also, Simba, apparently it's not just the National House now that is having this battle. If you read on page 5 of the Daily Nation, the headline here reads that majority-minority fight spills into the Senate.
That's it.
Yes.
Of course, those two houses,
yes.
isn't it? They really have to look and then also start saying, who's the majority in the house?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, the saying Azimio did confirm that they are in the minority with the list of leaders they sent to my office. That's according to some Amason Kingi, pardon me. The Speaker, as far as the Senate House is concerned, is making some remarks saying that Azimio did confirm that they are in the minority with the list of leaders they sent to his office. Now, that's pretty much something you want to look at as well, because these two houses are very vital to governance in this country. So far, I believe it's very important. But we have for a long time spoken about extrajudicial killings, murders here and there, disappearances over the years. And I can see it highlighted here on page 6 of the Daily Nation, what they call a probe. They're saying the script has been similar. We're seeing relatives say the victims, pretty much those who were murdered, received a call, left and disappeared. A few days or weeks later, their bodies were found dumped in thickets or rivers. Now, this story is resurfacing with a bit of analysis here. If I would just read it, it's written by Nyaboga Kiage. I wanted to really read that so that you would understand, the different names and faces out here. Quite a painful thing in a country where you're looking at security at the heart of everything. Why do we have a number of faces here, and almost all of them are young people, youth, all right? So these disappearances, these mysterious happenings and foul murders, what is it that we ought to know about this? And is it one of those things that we need to look at just as much as we're looking at education and the national houses and the assemblies? What about the Kenyans' security in as far as movement, and being able to carry out the normal duties is concerned? So that is on page 6 and 7 of that particular, daily. So you want to really grab that and read it. Well, I guess that's it, Simba. I will go back to you again to see what is on the Standard.
Let me ask you a question. Would you sue your classmate and a friend? As a lawyer accuses friend of recording their conversations at a tender at a state agency. Now, the classmate then took the tapes to EACC to investigate him for soliciting a bribe.
Why wouldn't you sue your classmate if they're not...
And your friend?
Well,
do
we
friends.
have
These
friends?
two guys are friends. Read that story on page 3.
If they are your friend, would they record you?
But then if you're my friend, why are you asking me for a bribe?
Oh, by the way. But
but then...
Such a twist.
Yeah, isn't it? But then why are you recording me separately without my permission?
Why don't you just stop him why don't you just tell him no?
As that?
Yeah, why don't you just deny? Why don't you just refuse to be engaged in that?
But if I'm your friend, why would you take me to court?
I would. We have to be on the right side of the law. In fact, you remember when we were talking about, the new regime, and we're looking forward to the new cabinet? A lot of people are asking what then would President Ruto do in as far as appointing these people, nominating the names and the respective members of that particular cabinet. And there was an aspect of, is he going to then pick his friends? Or is he going to be professional and objective in the entire process? So I think friendship really shouldn't come in between you and integrity.
Friendship, sometimes it comes in between that and business. By the way, read that story on page 3 of the Standard. It's a very interesting story around there, and it's touching on KEMSA as well. Now, Ankey, you see the aid from that normally presidents work with. I'm talking about the bodyguards here. There is the famous one who Kenyans started talking about, like, jamaa kikupiga kofi unavunjika mkono. Huyu jamaa hizo pins ziko hapo kwa on their suit, is it? On their attire. It is only zile bunduki anaweza beba at once. The accolades. Anyway, so President William Ruto has officially picked a new aide from Kenya Army. His name is let me just get the name. Fabian Lengu Suranga. Who's gonna take over from Timothy Stelu Lekolol as a new one. and it was going to be assisted by a lady. I think you've seen it. You've seen her, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm very proud of her. You know me.
Going to be assisted by a lady as well. But one thing that you have to pick is that the two of them come from the same community. Is there something about Maasais and security?
Oh, wow. By the way, is there something about these guys, the security and the police force? Even when, even when comedians try to mimic or I don't want to say ridicule, this particular executive, part of the executive, they always have some sort of accent, which pretty much would be lying towards one side. Simba, before we go to what's trending, really, can I pick this on the back page of the Daily Nation?
Yes, you can.
We all need electricity, right?
Welcome.
And we're seeing here utility. We're seeing Kenya Power to add 55,000 meters to self-reading plan. And the company is hoping to use this service to cut down on billing errors due to estimation. If you go on Twitter, a lot of times and just search KPLC, the number of complaints on that page. And as far as the billing errors and all that stuff, I mean, Kenyans really want to read this and understand what are the reforms Kenya Power is doing to ensure that service delivery to you is efficient and fair. All right, it could be expensive, but did you see people saying, especially after the reforms and the changes and as far as tax is concerned, unanunua units ya 3,000 unazipata ngapi? 200 hivi? 200 units?
200? Right now, could be getting a 200.
So about 200, about 3,000, or is it if you use 6,000, about 3,000 goes to a lot of,
Almost half of that is going to go to levies and inflation adjustment and tax.
Scary.
And that, to some level, that's what happens in this country when we pay for products. By the way, I'll be giving you that detail from 11 to 12 on Lookuptv Business. I'll be telling you those adjustments. Where are they? And who are they going to affect? By the way, as from tomorrow, you will see even cooking oil up, everything other than just fuel. Anyway, we take a short break right here on The Morning Drift. Once we come back, let's see what it is that you're talking about online on The Morning Trends.
Welcome back. This is The Morning Drift. And Simba, if I look back in my childhood, early childhood through to being a teenager, I really want to appreciate, besides parents and guardians and, the neighbor next door who made sure that at least you have some cup of tea or porridge before your mom gets home, the teachers. Those are like home away from home. So happy World Teachers Day to you all.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
It's beautiful. As they usually say.
Ankey, who's your favorite teacher?
My
Everybody
favorite?
has a favorite teacher.
I do have a favorite.
But do you remember is it from primary school, high school?
Primary.
Primary.
And I'm going to be very biased.
Oh.
This is not going to, I don't know how this is going to come up, but Mr. Ombat.
Was that Mr.?
Ombat.
Is that your dad?
That's my dad.
Don't pick your dad, pick somebody different.
But he was a teacher as well.
No, he picked somebody different. Second.
You asked me.
Okay, second most favorite after Mr. Ombat. Who's that?
Let me see. Can I say that at the end?
Oh my God, you don't. You don't have.
Really, honestly,
You really don't.
There's so many, and it would be difficult to
No.
Just stick with Mr. Ombat for this morning.
Okay, that's fine.
A great exemplary teacher changed a number of lives.
Oh, yeah?
Can we go to you? Which teacher do you celebrate?
I do know. Yeah. That's my teacher from standard 3. 4? No, actually it was in 3, class 3. Yeah, class 3.
His name? Her name?
Mr. Onsase was one of those teachers who believed in me. And I would only speak mother tongue up to around class 1, 2, yeah?
Yes.
But then after that, it came in and said, well, Simba, you're my best student here, and I think you can perform. Guess what? Followed me up every day. Could even come and visit over the weekend. My favorite day. Yeah, could follow me back home. And be like, have you completed your storybook? And then your English as well? As it.
Beautiful.
We celebrate that.
I mean, a great shout out to all teachers who, follow up on the students.
Yeah.
But who anasema ukikutana na mwalimu nunua chai.
That's it.
Yeah. For today, sasa tutafute hizo number. Tununulie hawa walimu chai. Is it not?
For you, it will be a very different case.
All right, you know what?
Where's the
Ogada Hongo.
Where's the nunua chai nyumbani?
Mr. Ogada Hongo. Simba, I'm telling you.
Nunua chai huku nje.
Yeah. Nimekwambia mwalimu wangu wa mathematics, now that mathing does not math. Mr. Ogada Hongo, he had this, you know this long ruler, the wooden ruler?
Yep.
He said, 5 times 8. Before he gets to the door. If you're the first one, he hits a 5 times 8. I started it from there. Did you get it? If he, So he actually made us strong. Yeah. And at least squeezing math in a mathing, for that. But of course, happy World Teachers Day. But of course, that's not all that is trending. Can we look at what is trending? I'll just pick on the first now, most trumpeted, is the GMO conversation, Simba. If I would just pick one of these tweets, Honorable Charles Nguna, of course, we all know that the ban has been lifted, therefore, that's why everyone has different reactions to it. He says food insecurity in Kenya needs a long-lasting solution and not short-term interventions. Now, according to Honorable Charles Nguna, instead of the dangerous GMOs, the Kenya Kwanza administration should focus on maximizing on the water potential Kenya has, and our solutions lie within our borders. Now, that's what he says about that particular development. All right, Simba.
Makes sense, isn't it? Makes sense, because we've had conversations here on Look at Business where the experts were saying, well, the focus should be on everything organic and everything natural, and we've not fully exploited that potential. So when you say let's turn to GMO as well, the question is going to be, have you fully exploited your potential to go organic, to go natural first, before you say then we need help in these particular areas? Because, well, you know, Ankey, there's two sides of the conversation. When you look at the rest of the continents and the states that have already allowed GMO in their economies, are they suffering?
Apparently, Simba, there was this other, analysis towards that, and I like that you brought it up. There is a relationship, they say, scientists and medics would tell you, to cancer. GMO and cancer, that's what they say. And one of the analysts was asking, therefore, are we then saying that we'd rather not sleep of hunger, but then continuously fight and die of cancer? So it's quite a conversation there. Health practitioners coming out to say, well, we don't think it's a good idea. It's a short-term, solution you're looking at, but are you seeing beyond that as far as the health of this particular nation is concerned? So really, if I just read one more tweet here before we cross over to Museveni, Kenya versus Uganda tweet as well on what's trending. Professor J. Olekiapi, I hope this is actually the real account. It's very tricky on Twitter.
You remember Olekiapi, yeah?
Yes, and of course it reads, Kenya banned GMOs about 10 years ago. Then we were told they are not good for our health, of course, and agro-diversity. Suddenly, without a clear rationale, an exiting cabinet lifts the ban. He says no justification, no laying off the ground, nothing, just like that. What is or was the hurry? Another point there, people saying it's an outgoing cabinet. You're not going to be sitting with these people. Why? What was the hurry? Did you get time? Did you take your time to assess the situation? Not forgetting that President Trudeau has a background and expertise on, plants, botany. So they're saying from where he sits, he's also, he's also just making this decision based on his expertise as well. But really, what do Kenyans think of it? We are live at Lookuptv. I would still opt for, natural foods as Ankey Dorice compared to GMO. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you think.
Interesting, therefore. It's a lot of conversations, around that area. But the law is the law. That's what they say. They've already passed it. And unless then we speed up this process and then go have a case at the High Court or the Supreme Court, isn't it? And then some of the decisions are reverted. It looks as if it's already a done and dusted deal. We do now officially have GMOs in the country. By the way, somebody was saying already now, some other people will already be doing that business. You know how they grow, yeah? You've seen it? You've seen that picture? Where one maize plant would have like maybe 8 or 10 cobs, of maize. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Ankey, we do have a couple of minutes. Can we look at what Kenyans are talking about in as far as Museveni is concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love that. But of course, what I'm picking here is just the headlines, as we already mentioned, is that Museveni moves to tame wild sun. That is what is trending right now. A lot of Kenyans just saying it's a bit confusing. Has he then started campaigning for 2026 elections. Someone is, also relating that to Museveni's reaction as a sort of kind of a campaign.
Yeah.
It's just pretty much about the remarks of his son, Muhoozi, and it's just quite confusing here. Muhoozi actually came out to tweet.
Let's work together. I forgive you for all your insults, Kiage.
Yes. And that also elicited different reactions. That is in relation also with a tweet here that I want to pick real quick, Simba,
yes,
which is still Kenya versus Uganda. I don't know how long this will go. I don't know how long this will go if Kenyans would let it go. You know how chaotic can be.
I know.
So I might not read all of that, Simba. Most of it is just a lot of rants, venting. Not much credible people still tweeting on that. What is actually trending right now is on his, taking away powers, military powers, and, the promotion he now has as, the position has been given, even as a way of taming him. So, well, someone says you should have just fired him, get him off the governance thing, but why is he still sticking around and just taking off some duties? A lot of that conversation just going on Twitter right now.
That's exactly what we have for you in terms of the morning trends this morning. Yes. And remember, you can actually get to join us at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. We are live across all of them on Facebook, Lookuptv, something to Twitter, and YouTube, Instagram as well. We take a short break. Once we come back, let's look at what you're waking up to in terms of our news headlines.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design, with branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa. Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
For decades, our people have endured systematic oppression and unimaginable discrimination.
이 사람도 모두 이렇게 평화의 일이 이루어지기를 노력하고 있습니다.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experienced, still trusted God to see them through.
The seeds that was sown in me helped me navigate and overcome that period of my life.
New testimonies, new insights, and even better revelation of the good things God has in store for us.
There is always a blessing waiting for someone in every episode.
Yippee! Kamata floating at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optivent's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende na nyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
Well, you are watching The Morning Drift. Many thanks for keeping it right here for the latest news updates now from the newsroom. Here are the stories making headlines, most of which we expect will develop across the day. However, we begin with the majority standoff, and Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, is expected to resolve the majority leadership matter in the National Assembly. This is after the members of parliament allied to both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio One Kenya failed to determine which coalition has the majority number of members of parliament in the House.
Earlier, we have an issue in the House on the leadership and the contested communications before the...
And I'll be tabling the coalition agreement between Kenya Kwanza, the parties UDA, the founding parties UDA, ANC, Ford Kenya, Honorable Speaker, and further agreements with the Umoja na Maendeleo Party.
Party for Growth and Prosperity. Those are 26. Those are 26 political parties that had signed a coalition agreement under the umbrella of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party.
I dare you, table the Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party agreements that are signed by any of these political parties. And I would dare you to table that.
All right, now all eyes are still on Wetangula as far as that is concerned, but we move over to other news. President William Ruto has called on elected members from all the political divide to put politics behind them and embark on serving the electorate. The head of state has additionally appealed to all arms of the government, from the executive, the judiciary and the legislature, to work in harmony to gear the country towards economic revolution. Our reporter Henry Tende with more on this story.
At the home of his deputy Rigathi Gachagua in Nyeri County, during the final sending off of Jackson Reriani, the elder brother to Gachagua, the head of state Dr. William Ruto has sought to remind elected leaders from all the political divide that the time has come for them to work in accordance to promises they made.
Maneno ya uchaguzi tumemaliza, mashindano tumekamilisha. Sasa ni nafasi ya sisi wote kuungana ili tuweze, wale wanaoendesha serikali waendeshe kwa manufaa ya Wakenya, wale walio katika upinzani wapange kwa manufaa ya wananchi wa Kenya, kule mahakamani tupange kwa manufaa ya wananchi wa Kenya, kwa sababu we are all serving the great people of the Republic of Kenya.
The Commander-in-Chief, while reiterating his commitment to bettering the lives of Kenyans, has called on the three arms of parliament to work harmoniously to propel the country to greater heights of development.
As the executive, I want to commit, we will do our bit. I want to ask the legislature to do their bit and our judiciary to do their bit so that we can transform our country together and serve the interests of the 50 million Kenyans, and especially those who voted for us.
With ballooning national debt threatening to throw the country into economic turmoil, the head of state notes with concern that the country must make hard decisions to put things back on track.
Kuna kazi, kuna kibarua tuko naye hapa mbele. Lakini mimi nataka niwahakikishie hiyo kibarua tunatoshana naye. Hiyo kibarua tunatoshana naye. Tutafanya hiyo kazi ili tuhakikishe ya kwamba pale mwisho watoto wetu hawataridhi deni kutoka kwetu.
And for you to succeed, those of us you have given a responsibility to help you, we must work equally hard. So I want to confirm before my family that I will not let you down. I will do whatever it takes and will be there for you to give you the necessary support so that you are in a position to turn around the economy of this country and restore the dignity of our people.
The prevailing national drought and the biting pangs of hunger has caught the attention of the president, who has committed to support the farmers even more to boost food production.
Tumeanza mpango ya mbolea ya msimu ambao unafuata, and we are going to make sure that we support our farmers so that they can produce enough food for our country and we can eliminate the shame of hunger in the Republic of Kenya.
The late Reriani has been eulogized as a great businessman and a man of the people who had immense love for his family. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Thank you very much, Henry Tende, for that update. And we go further into Reriani Gachagwa's burial. And President William Ruto and his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, have eulogized Jackson Reriani Gachagua as a dedicated man who fought for the interest of his family and contributed to the growth of the country's economy. Ian Keitani had filed the following story.
While attending Jackson Reriani's final send-off, President William Ruto termed the deceased as a statesman who went out of his way to ensure that his siblings were well educated and broadly participated in the building of the country's economy.
Alifanya mchango wake kama Mkenya. Tumesikia mahali alifanya kazi. Tumesikia hata mara ya mwisho alikuwa anafanya kazi hapa ya kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ya irrigation katika mambo yetu ya kilimo. Kwa hivyo huyu ni Mkenya ambaye ametoa mchango wake katika familia na katika taifa lake. Ndio tumekuja hapa kwa kumuenzi na kumshukuru Mungu kwa kutupatia huyu ndugu yetu ambaye leo amesafiri. Poleni sana Mama Cecilia, pole my young man Stephen and your family. Poleni sana ndugu zetu wa Reriani Gachagua.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua eulogized his brother as a man of his word, lauding him for ensuring he completed his studies, assuring Reriani's family of his full support. Gachagua narrated the hard times the family has undergone in the last few years, urging Kenyans to value the unity of their families and the importance of education.
So my parents, we were 9 of us, and they tried so hard. They educated Jack Reriani and Governor Derito Gachagua and told them to educate the rest of us. Myself, my sister Lillian, who is in London, my sister Mudhoni, who is here, we were handed over to Jack by my parents. This man paid my school fees from Form 1 to Form 6. And I'm so grateful to God because God gave me an opportunity to tell him, thank you for educating me. When they came for our inauguration, Your Excellency, they stayed with me in Nairobi for 3 days, and I had an opportunity to thank him profoundly for having seen me through school on behalf of my parents who are lacking. I want to ask all of us, where we can, those who are able, take care of your siblings. See them through school, assist them in life. So as we escort my late brother, I have a debt of gratitude to him. And as a way of giving back, I'll make sure that his wife, who has been left behind, his children, Stephen and your kids. Whatever God can help me to see you through, I will do it as a way of appreciation to my late brother who saw me through education.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
May his soul rest in eternal peace. Now moving on to matters food security. After President William Ruto's directive to lift the ban on genetically modified crops that was imposed in 2012, mixed reactions have been elicited concerning the issue, causing public debate with questions being raised on the safety of the genetically engineered products. Here is Brian Amwai with the analysis.
It is a decision that has sparked a myriad of reactions from public after the cabinet approved the importation and use of genetically modified products, GMO. Genetically modified organisms can be defined as organisms in which the genetic material DNA has been altered in a way that does not occur naturally by mating or natural recombination. The technology is often called modern biotechnology or gene technology, sometimes also recombinant DNA technology, or genetic engineering. It allows selected individual genes to be transferred from one organism to another and also between non-related species. Foods produced or using GM organisms are often referred as GM foods. As the country continues to raise concerns about GMO, CEO of National Biosafety Authority, Dr. Roy Mugira, has assured the country that it is safe for consumption.
That which we have put a seal of approval as NBA and said that this is safe to go to the environment, to go to cultivation, and to land onto your table. It is indeed safe. If I use Kiswahili, I would say it is hakika.
Mugira says GMO crops are drought resistant and also use less pesticides, which is good for not only consumption but also the environment.
The large majority that we'll be looking at from this side, or from Kenya, for example, is drought resistance, pest and disease resistance. A potato is coming up that is resistant to blight, so it's in the trials. Cassava has already gone through a number of phases of approval. Actually, it is just waiting for what is called national performance trials, which is resistant to viruses. So largely it is in disease resistance and drought resistance. That doesn't limit us. One research going on at Kenyatta University is looking at enhancing the nutritional value of sorghum. You know, sorghum, a lot of time we consider it as a peripheral crop. If it can be enhanced to provide basic and very important micro and macronutrients, then it becomes useful. So enhancement of nutrition, pest and disease resistance, and drought resistance. Those are the key ones that I can think of from where I see it as the top of what we will be considering going forward.
The lifting of the ban on GMOs by the Kenya government has brought mixed reactions in the country, with members of the Kenya Peasants League and Kangemi grassroots human rights movement condemning the move, saying it's meant to benefit a few greedy companies in Kenya, but also have long-term negative effects in the country.
And this line has been bought by governments in the global south, including the Kenyan government, in pushing for cultivation of GMO crops. We, as the movement, contend that yes, genetic engineering takes place in the field, but it is different from what takes place in the labs, where you find that foreign genes are introduced into the organisms, therefore altering the genetic makeup of those organisms.
Tunataka serikali hii maneno ya GMO tunataka itoke kabisa. Juu tunajua the impact of GMO si kwa wakulima peke yake, pia wenye wanakula hizi chakula. Tunajua vizuri sana the impact of GMO. So serikali nataka kutuonyesha, wanajaribu kutuambia kwamba wanataka kutuua. Juu tumejua tukikula hizi chakula ni sumu tunakula kwa mwili.
Dr. Mugira, however, says there is no much difference between the GMO and normal crops, and that no evidence has been provided to prove that GMO is harmful.
The cotton that is genetically modified is cotton. The only difference is just a small fragment of the gene that makes that protein, which helps it to resist the bollworm.
Lifting of the ban on genetically modified products is one way the government wants to ensure food security in the country, as drought continues to affect millions of Kenyans in 23 counties. Brian Amuai, Lookuptv.
Nairobi.
All right, that debate on the GMO continues. What are your thoughts on the same? Let us know. We are live on Facebook right now at Lookuptv and also on Twitter. Just how confident are you in the GMOs, and are you ready to consume it as you are the designated consumer? Now, moving on to other matters as far as international relations are concerned. Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary nominee Alfred Mutua has said there is no cause for alarm over the Kenyan invasion messages by Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni's son Muhoozi. His sentiments come after a meeting he held with the Uganda's ambassador to Kenya, Hassan Galiwango, and the meeting came a few hours after several leaders mounted pressure on President William Ruto to intervene and find a solution over this particular matter.
In the letter issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Uganda, and I quote, "To this end, the government of the Republic of Uganda wishes to reiterate its commitment to good neighborliness, peace, and coexistence and cooperation," end of quote. The letter coming into the calm tension between Kenya and Uganda, occasioned by a series of disturbing tweets by General Muhoozi. Muhoozi was on Tuesday elevated from a lieutenant general to a major general a day after he tweeted on his handle that it would take him only 2 weeks to take over Nairobi County, a statement that sparked mixed reactions among Kenyans on Twitter. Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary nominee Alfred Mutua has assured Kenyans there is no cause to worry about the side trick a Kenyan invasion message by Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni's son after meeting he held with Uganda Ambassador to Kenya Hassan Galiwango. Kariuki Nduati, Lookuptv.
And now, because we give vital, attention to your opinion, despite President William Ruto's promise to invest in production and improve the cost of living, Kenyans are still decrying the prevailing tough economic times. In our daily segment of Your Opinion Matters, we ask Kenyans what their thoughts are about the high cost of living. And here is what they had to say.
Matters. We asked Kenyans on their thoughts on the rise of prices of commodities, and this is what they had to say.
Sasa serikali ya sasa ni ngumu sana, inatugandamiza. Ilisema inapunguza bei ya bidhaa ya mwananchi wa kawaida, lakini hakuna kitu yenye imefanywa. Sasa tujui tunaendelea wapi. Rais mimi namwambia ajaribu kukumbuka Hustler Nation, juu yeye mwenyewe alisema bottom up.
Ingawa kweli tunatarajia uchumi iwe sawa, but mpaka lini? Na kila siku maisha tunaumia, kila siku unakuta hii bidhaa bei ndio hii imepanda. Mapato yetu ama mapato ya wananchi bado iko chini. Customer wetu hata hawafiki bei. Anako sawa ni 50, na hata kupata huyo mteja wa 50 ni shida. Then hiyo pesa ukishaipata baadaye ujira wako haukimu mahitaji, kama ni school fees ndio hiyo bado iko juu. Walituambia sijui elimu ni ya bure, sijui ni bure gani, tunalipanga kutoka primary, secondary. Tena hii uchumi kwani inakuaga mzuri kwa kina nani kama sio kwetu sisi? Ni Wakenya wagani ambao wanafurahia wati uchumi kuwa sawa, ambapo mimi najihesabu nikiwa Mkenya nafaa kuwa nafurahia ama najivunia kuwa Mkenya, lakini sasa ni kuvumilia tu.
Kitu yenye gava ingefanya tu kitu poa, inge balance food na transport. Yaani hii ni wewe ukienda kununua unga unanunua pesa kidogo. Ukikam kulipa mafuta unaenda hivyo. Juu kama unaona kama leo manze, leo hakuna magari mingi. Hizi gari zimelala. Juu gava imesema imepunguza mafuta na bado wanashikashika hao madere, unaona? Haisaidii kitu.
Sasa maoni yangu ni fulfill the promises, and that's why we erect. So tunagojea fulfill the promises. Kama sasa hizi mimi ni driver, tunasafa sana kwa mafuta, bei ya mafuta, na ile pesa yenye tunapata ni kidogo sana. Tuko na familia. Hata pesa yenye tunapata kidogo hata haiwezi kusaidia familia zetu. So wajaribu venye to direct or fulfill the promises na tutafurahia sana.
Those are some of the opinions from Kenyans in today's segment of Opinion Matters. Grace Mureithi, Lookuptv.
Yeah. All right, now Kenya is known for being quite an athletic nation, of course, and now we're looking at developments here as a sort of appreciation as world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge and London marathon champion Amos Kipruto were among the athletes flown yesterday morning by the national carrier, that is the Kenya Airways, early in the morning, that is on the 4th of October. Kipchoge, Kipruto, alongside Jocelyn Jepkosgei, who finished second in women's race at London Marathon, were hosted by Kenya Airways, and Kipchoge recaptured the Berlin Marathon title in style, smashing his own world record by 30 seconds in the German capital on September 25th. All right, there you have it. And of course, we are looking at appreciation there by the Kenya Airways. A lot of Kenyans coming out to say, well, it's actually really good. You hosted them. They were flown in as they deservingly were to be, you know, flown in. But what are your thoughts on that particular story as well? It's quite interesting how we have maintained positions in as far as athletics are concerned. I think that's the major thing people look at. Once you say I'm Kenyan, they're like, ah, you run. Yeah, very good morning. If you're just joining us, the show has just begun. Simba Kiage, how fast can you run?
Actually, very fast. No, stop laughing. Ankey, I run every Saturday and Sunday.
That's jogging or running?
Running. Cumulatively, I do about, for both days, about 40 kilometers. Yeah, 20, Saturday 20, Sunday 20 kilometers. I wake up at 6 a.m.
Is there something to show? I don't, you know,
There's a video, but it's only that I can't get it right now.
A video?
Yeah.
How long is the video?
But as long as it might be. Just to show me running. It's even got a timestamp on it.
Oh, interesting. That is convincing. But of course, what do you think of that? I feel like, is it new? Just being hosted by Kenya Airways?
No, it's not. Anyway, Ankey, there's something that I want to ask you, though. Since you're talking about fashion today.
Oh, yes.
I meant fashion, isn't it? Is that what you're focusing on?
It might not really be entirely men, but just you know, achieving that classic look.
Here's what they say. To succeed, dress the part.
True.
Very, very important, isn't it?
True.
That's a story that I saw covered today in the morning on pages 14 and 15 of the Standard, by the way. Do you agree with that? That indeed, how you dress in a bigger essence makes people then attach some quality to you as a person. Is that true?
I wouldn't really say they would attach quality to you as a person. I just think it begins a conversation.
It does?
I think it would attract some kind of conversation or type of people, depending on what you actually want to attract or what's your vision like, the kind of people you want to sit around. Sometimes really I would agree, though. I once sat with one of the fashionistas and they didn't agree to it. Dress how you'd like to be addressed, okay?
That's true.
It might not really, you know, add quality to you as a person, but it might, of course, spark a conversation. You might be addressed differently. Someone would want to hear what you have to say, all right? It speaks before you speak. It's just presentation, really. How are you presenting yourself to this group of people, to these persons, and who do you want to sit with? You know, it's like when you're hosting artists, you want to be at their level, so you dress like an artist. If you want to, you know, sit with diplomats, you're definitely not going to the parliament in jeans, are you? You are going to be dressing in a way that's going to fit the conversations around that. So I agree with that. But it doesn't add to who you are as a person. It might speak a bit of who you are, but does it change your persona?
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
You ask people around, by the way, it does. If I put on a short and a t-shirt and some sneakers, even the way that I'll be walking, the way that I'll be carrying myself, it will be sort of, I'll be free. For lack of a better word, carefree. But if I put on my jacket and my tie and then some dress shoes on top of that, the way that I'll carry myself, even my walking style, by the way, actually will completely change. It's true. It's like if you see somebody dressed like that in a club, what do you think you'll associate them with? You know, official, tight, uptight.
Yeah,
you know?
probably like you know, that kind of thing that you just said.
Yeah.
But Simba, also you remember that you know, Lookuptv had something going down with golf.
Oh yeah.
Just this weekend, and you brought me back. You brought the memories back. It was quite an interesting, colorful, you know, event there. And I was just imagining if someone had gone to that particular ceremony in that particular outfit that you mentioned, jeans and all that. Really, people would. You know, you had to dress the way that group is dressed to not really fit in, but you want to have conversations freely and enjoy the game.
You just gotta be there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes also, Ankey, sometimes it's also good to drift from what people are, isn't it?
True.
But then anyway, I can't wait for that conversation that you're going to have this morning on our fashion. And by that, I'll be listening, even as I get ready for Liquor Business to follow shortly.
Get them tips.
Here's the thing, I'll be following, and then we see exactly how the conversation is going to go down today on the Morning Brief. Ankey, take over.
Thank you so much, Simba, even for that. I loved that, you know, particular conversation we've had, just setting pace for the big deal. I call him that all the time. If you check on his Instagram page already, just go out and figure out what he does. But as much as striking that classy look is concerned, here is something you don't want to miss, especially for the gentleman. You need that drip right here on the Morning Drip shortly after this breather.
Hi there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Maki Wambogo, Sales Manager of Optiven Real Estate, and I'm here at our head office, Absa Towers, located at Reuters Street. Today, I'm here to talk about our newest project, that is Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki, and it is located only 10 minutes drive from Cedar Mall. And in this project, we have proposed that we will be having a GMC Entertainment Center. This will be a replica of what we have in Kitengela, GMC Kitengela. We are also proposing a police post, so you are assured that security, once you invest here, security is good. And we are also proposing to have a playing ground. We are also going to have a community ground. So once you invest here, you don't have to worry about the security. The other things, among the things that we are doing, or the things that we have done already in Great Oasis Gardens, we have already done the marking fence, and the roads, the internal roads are already happening. We have started the malaming the road, and we are still in the process of doing the malaming of the internal roads. And we are also sinking a borehole so that we ensure that our investors in Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki, will not struggle with water. We are also going to elevate a water tower so that we have a constant supply of water in this project. And we also have a caretaker on site. The caretaker is on site and he's there 24/7. And then we also have different sizes in this project. We are having 8, we are having quarters, we are having halves, and we are also having acres. One can buy in bulk, you can buy in big chunks, and that is why we are saying in Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki, we are saying that bigger is better. In this project, what you can invest in private schools, you can also do holiday homes, whereby you can do Airbnb, you can also do holiday homes and then you start renting, and you can also build houses and sell. You can also do apartments in this area. You can also do supermarkets. You can also build a mall and then you start renting. There is so much that you can do in this project because it is not controlled development. We are also located along Nanyuki Rumuruti Road, and this road is being proposed to be tarmacked by the government. So coming from Nanyuki, or coming from wherever you be coming from, it will be very easy to access the project because it is touching the Nanyuki Rumuruti Road, which is going to be tarmacked by the government. My number is +254 722 355 107. Do not be left behind. Call that number. I will work with you. If you're in Kenya, give me a call. We go for the site visit. We select the project. We start the payment. If you're in diaspora, send a representative, and I will be delighted to work with you. And as we say here in Optiven, we shine because you make us shine. God bless you. Thank you.
Hapa ndio nimefika nyumba ya boxing.
Is it style? I mean,
Okay.
there's a conversation.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experienced, still trusted God to see them through.
The seeds that was sown in me helped me navigate and overcome that period of my life.
New testimonies, new insights, and even better revelation of the good things God has in store for us.
There is always a blessing waiting for someone in every episode.
For decades, our people have endured systematic oppression and unimaginable discrimination.
이 사람도 모두 이렇게 평화의 일이 이루어지기를 노력하고 있습니다.
Welcome back. A beautiful Wednesday morning to you. And you know how we do every Wednesday. We talk about grooming, the drip, the flex, the fashion world, trends, and style. Now, every time you go to Instagram, what sells most is, well, I hear now it's reels, but pictures as well. How do you present yourself wherever you go? Does it impact your daily life? Have you sat down and thought of, perhaps, if I change how I put on this tie and pocket square, I might be able to reach a number of people that I've wanted to reach in the past few months or weeks. Maybe it's just one little twist, a trick on how exactly to put on that scarf. All right? Now I'm bringing men closer to the fashion world for your sake. We're live on Facebook at Lookuptv, so make use of the comment section, because as I bring in a fashion designer and an expert, sometimes you'd say fashionpreneur, I don't even know how to put that. You want to understand what it takes to make it in the world of fashion, and also how to make money in the world of fashion. This morning, it's so good to have you. We are so excited.
Thank you so much.
You know, most people would call you Mr. Royalty.
Yes.
I don't just remember the real name yet. But after that, you know, captivating name, Mr. Royalty, royalty is such a big crown.
Yes.
Let's start with that.
Okay.
Why did you pick royalty? You would have said men designs, you would have said the heart of a classy man.
Okay.
But Mr. Royalty.
Yeah. So since I started my fashion journey, I used to like, there are so many people who are doing the normal type of suits.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something different, something that appeals to the royal type of style. So when I was looking at the name that I'm gonna do my brand, that I'm gonna give my brand, I didn't just want it to give just a common name because I wasn't doing anything that's common. So I wanted to go the royal way, I wanted to go the classy way, and as you will see on the outfits that I have, you will see that touch of royalty on my outfits, and that's why I usually call my brand Mr. Royalty.
All right, now that of course is your approach to this. Can I throw this back to the viewer as we begin? Because most of them are already rushing to your social media platforms. Kenyans can really scrutinize. Let us know if it's a yes or a no. Is the royalty actually making it royal for you? Does it meet the standards of royalty? Let's just do that as easy as that. The comment section is open. We'll go deeper into understanding his work. Of course, some of them right here in display. He'll touch some of the material and explain why this color goes with that, why exactly he has this position, where exactly. So now, talking of royalty, right? Yeah. You realize that those are very high standards.
Yes.
Why do you think then? Because it's okay to dress up. You know, everyone dresses up, jeans, t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you are not, you know, naked, if I would say that way, just vanguo. And why is it so important to go a notch higher, put more effort into looking royal?
Okay. So to me, I usually think like, you know, you are dressed according to how you're dressed. You get, when you go to, wherever you go, there's usually a perception based on how you look before you even speak up.
Perception?
Yeah, exactly. That's why even, let's say, for example, when you're going for an interview, you need to pass the interview even before you start the interview. It's very, very important. So that's why as much as you just want to dress, there's a way, the way you dressed, it usually has an impact on the people who are around you. That's why it's so important to look good. Yeah.
Because Simba and I were having this conversation before you actually came on air, and you've just said it as well. You are addressed based on how you are dressed. And you've actually said something very important, because I can tell you for sure, thousands and millions of Kenyans are going into interview rooms this morning. Yeah, and you have said you ought to pass the interview even before you begin the interview.
Because even, let me ask you right now, you just called me to the show.
Yes.
So let's say there's that perception, you hadn't seen me, but there's that perception that you had on the person who's going to walk through that door. So just imagine I came in with a vest and a short. I believe you'd be very disappointed. You wouldn't even let me sit here. Exactly. So that's the perception I was talking about. You need to look like the part that you want to play, you need to represent that even before speaking.
So there's something about representation as well.
Yes.
It represents you, how you present yourself. Even before we hear of your thoughts, your ideas, you already have represented yourself. You have sold yourself. Let's talk about selling yourself. You are a fashionpreneur.
Yes.
My goodness. So it does work, it thrives, it pays bills.
Yes,
Tell me more about this. You ventured into fashionpreneur, not just like that. There must have been a journey.
Yeah. Actually, I started my journey while I was back in campus. I was in the University of Nairobi, apparently doing something very different.
Do you mind?
Passion. I was doing wildlife management.
Wildlife?
Yes, in the Department of Veterinary, but still I was doing this as a side hustle. And you know, the reason why I got into fashion, first of all, is because I had passion in fashion. And at the same time, this is Kenya. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
So many people, once you're done with your campus, when you come outside here, it's very hard to get work. So I was like, okay, I love fashion, but I'm in the vet department. Why can't I, like, you know, try and also chase this as a side hustle so that in case when I get outside there, even if I don't get work, I still have something that to hold on. You get, it was more of so like a plan B, but at the same time, I came to grow more interest because even when I was dressing up in campus, when I was going to class,
yes,
even my lecturers were wowed with how I was wearing. And some of the lecturers were even my clients when I'm still a student.
Interesting,
you get?
yes.
Yeah. So that made me have that push because you see, when you look good and then people who are around you are noticing that you look good and they tell you you look good, you want to do that over and over again so that you can get that praise. And when I was just doing it because I started doing it as a hobby, I came to realize like, wow, I can make this to be a business. But that time I used to go to Gikomba. I started at Gikomba.
It's like everyone starts
exactly.
from there. Is it just me who's getting this story? Like everyone says, thrift, yeah.
You know, the reason why so many people usually start at Gikomba is because of the price. Gikomba has so many varieties at a very good price, pocket friendly, because when you're starting up, you don't have a lot.
True.
Yeah, you really don't have a lot of options, and also your financial stability isn't as good. So going to Gikomba, at least you can get to, you know, go about that, getting a few outfits, as well as, you know, trying to look at your pocket. You can get things that are pocket friendly.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's something about being smart as a fashionpreneur.
Yes, you have to be smart. In everything that you do, you have to be smart.
You can't keep trying to do stuff out of your means.
Exactly.
What happens when when you actually try and go beyond your means? Because you're trying to get the best quality of stuff, right?
Yes.
And your clientele as well. I mean, you are working with lecturers, by the way. Today's World Teachers Day, so perhaps we should actually appreciate those lecturers who are able to support your dream right from the classrooms.
I really appreciate them. Actually, I really appreciate them.
It's interesting though, but let's go back to the the agenda of the day. Not going beyond.
Okay.
Your means, because this business, you have to get in profit, not make more losses than you make in profit.
Yes.
So as far as that is concerned, how do you get the right touch? Because the guys who are beginning, the right touch of good quality, because Gikomba is wide.
Yeah.
So how do you get the extra sense, fashion sense?
So before you do this, I usually say, if you want to survive in anything that you're doing, first of all, it has to come within you. You need to have that passion. Because if you do something because someone else is doing, you might get tired quite fast. So if you have passion in this, then that's the way to start.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, let's say, like, you have passion for fashion.
Yes.
You gotta have to ask yourself, fashion is a very big term, it's a very big world. What is your target market? Do you want to venture into kids, men, ladies? Like, what exactly do you want to do? Because you're going to have to ask yourself these questions before you start. Otherwise, you'll find yourself going to the ladies, you're going to the men, you're going to the kids. And that's how, like, you get to a point whereby you've spent so much money, but you haven't gotten, like, exactly that. You haven't gotten that sense of direction.
You don't have a niche.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if you don't have a niche, it's very hard for you. That's why you might end up spending way too much. So once you identify your niche, let's say, like, I want to do things that relate to the corporate world.
Wow.
Then you go and now research. Okay, corporate world. Who are the people in the corporate world? How do they like to dress? And then after you identify how they like to dress, the good thing is, like, get a mentor or get an idol, like someone who you can look up to, and you're like, he does, like, you get someone who does the same thing as you want to do and try and follow into their steps.
And somehow draw inspiration.
Exactly,
from what they do.
So it's like, the people in the corporate world, they usually like to dress in suits, in this color of suits. So once you go to Gikomba, you already have an idea of what you want. So you're not just going blindly to get anything. Yeah, exactly. So you know what you're going to look for, and at the end of the day, you have a sense of direction, and that's how it comes in. The pieces comes in slowly by slowly.
You put together the pieces. What I like that you have said is, even though it's fashion, it sounds so easy. Because a lot of people think, well, it's okay to dress. It's so easy. They don't really realize how much effort is put into that discipline and vision. And we can always just get in your comments. What are your main questions? I know they're asking, can we start talking about what's behind us? We will be talking about this particular, beautiful outfit here. And can we begin with, your suit?
Okay.
Because you wear your own stuff, right?
Yes.
when did you begin to, okay, of course, let me see. I didn't want to ask it like, when did you begin to wear your own stuff, because you were doing that from the onset in campus. But branding, I think my point here is branding.
Yeah.
People get it wrong sometimes when it comes to branding. Fine, you've started, you've begun, you go to Gikomba, you know, you have a sense of direction. But right now with this world, branding is so important.
Yeah.
What does it take to actually say, now I want to work with Mr. Royalty, that is my stylist, and then earning trust from the clientele? Yes.
So first of all, when you're doing these outfits, like for example, all my outfits, I usually consider them as my babies. Yeah. So each suit that I usually tailor, I tailor it with love. Because I know at the end of the day, once that suit comes from my shop into the world, it is a representation of who Mr. Royalty is. So if I make something that does not match up to the standards of royalty, once it gets out there, it's gonna spoil the name of Mr. Royalty. And everything that you do, every service that you offer, you must make sure whatever you're offering is something that if it was mentioned out there, this someone belongs to you, you'd be proud of it. That is the very first step, and that's how you grow your brand. Because if I'm doing something for you and I'm doing it with dedication and so much passion, that product, once it comes out and you go out there, it's gonna be wow. And everyone who sees that outfit, because the way my business has gone through referrals. And it's all about just, you know, dressing someone very well. Once they go out there, they are like ambassadors to your own brand, and they'll just keep on referring people to you.
And I like how you keep putting emphasis on representation. Your work speaks for you.
Yes, exactly.
If you gave me a glass of water right now and it is from your kitchen, I will say I drank this from your house.
Exactly.
It is your representation.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the colors you're wearing today. Now there's a reason, let's just go easy on this one, There's a reason you wore the navy blue. Why navy blue? Because a fashionista could come wearing anything they want.
Yes. Okay, first of all, most of my clients right now currently are in the corporate world, and I usually like to appeal to my clients in the corporate world. Because right now when I'm seated here, there's someone who is there at home, and he's like, that suit looks really good, and I'd want that. Because like I said, everywhere you go, whatever you're wearing is a representation of you. So today I just felt like, you know, I should appeal to my clients in the corporate
It's
world.
always representation.
Yes. So today I'm representing them. But as you'll see on my other works, I have other representation of other different target markets.
And of course, I'm looking at what we're having on the screen. We're having both male and female clients coming to Mr. Royalty.
Yes.
And that's a bit of, I wouldn't say controversy, maybe a bit of irony. It's Mr. Royalty.
Yes.
Right? But you also say that it's important to identify a niche.
Yes.
So do you work with, you said corporate clients, so that means you work with both men and women.
Yes.
How is that going?
Okay.
Are they preferring suits? Do you do more than suits? Because women can pretty much pull anything in the corporate setup.
Yes.
How is this working for you?
Okay. When I started with Mr. Royalty.
Yes.
That is the parent company. But I have other sub-companies under Mr. Royalty.
Okay.
We have a section of ladies' outfits. We have a branch for ladies. It's called Miss Royalty.
Makes sense.
Yes, exactly.
Otherwise, we were going to twit.
So we have Mr. Royalty and Miss Royalty. Yes.
It was only fair that I would begin that way because ladies felt a little left out. Allow me to apologize. So let's talk about Miss Royalty as well. How then do you understand the female sense of style? Because female style is so versatile.
Yeah.
Sometimes female clients can also be very specific, particular.
I know that.
How is it going with that and just achieving the classy look? Because also there's a thin line for a woman to look extreme and then classy.
Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, I've come to realize, like, you know, ladies clients are very challenging. And but anyway, I usually take up in a positive perspective because it's through challenges that you grow.
True.
Yeah. So Come on, could you kindly ask her the question?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to understand how then women could pick in, you know, dressing classy. Rather than being extreme, because sometimes you might think you're pulling a classy look, you know, especially in the corporate world, but you're a bit too extreme. Like, what are the do's for the women clientele, the female clientele, and as far as achieving the classy look is concerned, before we cross over to the men?
Okay. So for starters, as a designer, you know, I came to realize as a designer, when you're also venturing into the ladies' world, you also need to be equipped with the knowledge, you get? Because for the ladies' outfits, it's quite different for the men, because the ladies usually come in different shapes and sizes, you get. So you need to also understand that, especially when you're having clients, because you might get like Lady A and Lady B. The outfit that Lady A looks good in is not the same way it will look on the other lady. So these are the things that you're supposed to understand first as a designer, because a client will come with a very nice outfit. I want this. And then as a designer, if you don't have that knowledge that this outfit is not going to go well with your body shape, you'll do it, and then eventually it's not going to come well, and the blame will be on you.
Again.
You get? Yeah. So the ladies' world is quite a challenging world, but it's good because through challenges is how you grow.
And what I picked is that you need a very good designer, ladies. I know that we all look amazing in outfits, but what if it doesn't suit your body?
Exactly.
You need a designer to guide you through that. Nini kama daktari wetu. With that, of course, let's just have a little laugh here on the myths that surround classy looks, fashion and style. And now that you're here and we're speaking about ladies, we're going to cross over to the men because the samples we have here are for men. But especially mambo ya color combination. There's a time we used to call it what? How did we used to call this? A color clashing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? I'm looking at you, and especially for men, lately I see men trying to color clash. So let's hear this from you. There's a myth here that says you can't combine more than 3 colors in one look. From your classy feel and taste of fashion, do you think this is a myth, or you can actually pull 3 colors on one look and still achieve the classy look?
Okay, you see, there's a very thin line, because even me, for my clients, I usually tell them, keep them between 3. You get? Because it's very hard for you to color clash once you're within the 3. But so many people, once you get out of the 3, is when you color clash. So there's a very high truth to that, because it's not everyone who has that sense of fashion. You get? Some people just wear to wear. And if you just cross, that's why I told you there's a very thin line, but not so many people can rock past that. So I'd say that's true.
Which colors are safe?
Okay.
Are there safe colors really? Because usually we say you can never go wrong with a black, you can never go wrong with maybe a white, a nude. If you were to kindly, just advise either, the female and the men, if you were feeling, the mood also sometimes wants you to do a few colors, which 3 colors or 4 are safe, for 3 rather, 3 for women and for men, just to maintain the classy feel as well?
So I'd say this, for men, when you come to me as a designer and you want to, to wear something, I usually ask you, what is your mood? How are you? Are you the outgoing type, or are you the, the opposite of outgoing? Because if you're not outgoing, then I usually suggest navy blue, black and gray.
That's for the men, or
for the men. Okay, especially like people who are in the corporate world, that is a tone down look. So you just go for black, navy blue. You can never go wrong with that. But if you're outgoing, you can we can do some maroon, we can do some green. So it depends with your personality first. Because if you're bubbly, I don't want to dress you something that tones you down.
That is dull.
Exactly. So if you're bubbly, I want to give you something that matches your personality.
Your energy and your personality.
Exactly. So even energy matters.
And tell you what, we had this conversation with Simba as well. And I was of the opinion that this doesn't affect your personality, doesn't affect your persona. Until now, boom, shock on me, the designer says, hey, I'm not going to dress you down if you're bubbly.
Exactly. You need to match your energy. Yeah.
Oh, is this why sometimes you come to work dressed down, and because you're bubbly, people ask you if you're okay? Because of your outfit.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, let's see. We have a myth here. Oversized clothes suits only slim or tall people. Oversized clothes, they suit, or rather they are more appropriate for slim or tall people.
First of all,
oversized.
I'm not really a fan of oversized. Even if you look at what I'm wearing right now, I generally say oversized suits. Actually, I don't know if to say oversized. You know, there's a slim fit and there's a regular fit, and then there is oversized.
Okay.
Yeah? Oversized seems too, like, you know, it's way off. But for the people I usually recommend, I won't say oversized, but suits that are not fitting are the people who are heavily bodied.
Okay.
Because
well-built?
because if you're not even heavily built, if the people who are big, let me say just generally big, because if you're big, you don't want something that's like, you know, hugging your body too much. You don't want that expression. And then also, if you're big, it's very easy for your outfit to tear. Yeah, it's very easy once you're doing one or two things for that outfit to tear. So you can have that extra room. But if you're slim, I don't think there's a problem with that.
All right. Yeah. Quite interesting. I don't know. There's a joke going around. I don't know if it's a joke, because for others, it's not really a joke. The Ugandan pictures that have been trending. And guys go on Twitter and say, "Kwani neighbors wetu wako na taila moja?"
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I feel like because of their age and, you know, how, you know, Museveni's outfits and
I don't know if it's
now
good.
the foreign affairs minister. What are your thoughts on the tweets?
I don't know if it's good to talk that without my lawyer.
So even fashion and stuff like that need legal guidance.
No, but anyway, I was just joking.
Yes.
So I feel like for him, there should be some quite of improvement. I mean, it's good to have some, like we said, how you look is how you're perceived.
Yeah,
so
true.
it won't hurt to have some well-fitting suits, because I saw a joke whereby it was saying the only person in Uganda that doesn't fear the president is his tailor. You get So yeah, but I feel it's good to have something that fits you well. I mean, who doesn't want to look good?
Okay, who doesn't want to look good? But also, as we speak of who doesn't want to look good, I'm going to go back to some of these myths. Speaking of looking good, there is something about being comfortable in what you're wearing and what society would depict or perceive as looking good. When you design people and you want to, you know, look classy, feel classy, sometimes there are moments you actually can tell that this person is uncomfortable. Fine, it's a classy look, but they don't really look confident or comfortable in it. How do you strike the balance of decency, class, and also being comfortable?
Okay, I told you, and I'm going to repeat again.
Yes.
It's very good to dress according to your personality. We are coming back to that.
True.
Because everyone has the border in which the type of outfits they are comfortable in. So before I even dress you, I have to understand first, what is your style? Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm not the one who is wearing the clothes. You're the one who is wearing the clothes, and you're the one who's gonna, you know, be wearing them out there. So first of all, I need to understand what you're comfortable in. And then when I get to know what you're comfortable in, I can guide you through, because I believe in every, like, you know, in every type of person, there's usually that gauge from the classy and to the not classy.
Yes.
And I feel like I know each and every niche, and I can tell you in this niche, there's always a way we can get around that.
All right. Interesting. So do you then speak to your designer and tailors about your personality? It's quite a challenging question there, because mara nyingi nakuanga tu hii picha. Here's what I want to look like. We are going for a wedding. So this is what we feel is going to be the perfect classy look. Until now you're wearing it and you can hardly, you know, greet people because you're not sure if it is representing you.
But then another thing, so many people usually come to me and they're not sure of that style. But it's all about getting your client also comfortable into that outfit. Because let me tell you this. Let's say you're not a fan of suits. And you come and I tell you, this suit will look good on you. And you're not really sure. As far as you're willing to try, because once I make that suit for you, and then you go out there, and then you're told, you look good, you look good, you look good. You aren't comfortable from the word go.
True.
But once you start getting those compliments, you start adjusting into that style, and you find yourself going back for more, for more, for more. So sometimes it's not really about, like, you know, maybe that's not your style. It's just about trying, and then you get to see. Because if you look good, you look good.
Kanzuri nzuri.
Yeah, kanzuri nzuri.
All right, guys, we take a very short breather. We are saying you can actually achieve that classy look, well, within your budget, and you actually have to feel comfortable in it. But have you thought about your personality? How are you dressed today, by the way? Where are you headed to this morning? Leave it in the comment section and we can help you play around with some of your outfits. You're also coming in to touch on some of these particular outfits here. Quite interesting. Royalty. When you hear that, the standards are set a bit too high. We'll be right back. This is The Morning Drift with Mr. Royalty.
Hi there, my name is George Washuri. I am so happy to see you, and today I am here to enumerate, to explain how we package our land investment. We have 5 levels of our property, and we classify these levels as 1 star, 2 stars, 3 star, 4 star, and 5 star. This is what we mean, that if you buy a property that is 1 star with Optiven, one of the things that is evident, the property is cheaper, is below $500,000. And this particular property is basically bare land. We only do subdivision, put the beacons, and then produce titles. The second level, we call it 2 star. This is prime land, whereby we grade the roads, we put a marking fence, do the beacons, and produce titles. The third level, we call it 3 stars. This 3 star is value added plots. We do the malam, we do the water, we do the mesh fence, and there's a caretaker on site. The fourth level is 4 star. 4 star is ready to build development. We do very nice maram roads, we plant the trees, we put the water tower, we also put a caretaker on site, and finally, the 5 star. The 5 star is premier, is the top level, and this one, we do cable roads, we do water management through underground culverts, we do underground power, we do fountain for water, we do beautiful and nice permanent gates, we do perimeter wall, and also do install the CCTV, and the whole property is manned by uniformed security. Some of these properties, these 5-star properties, we do a clubhouse and also construct swimming pool. Thank you once more for trusting Optiven. We value you. We are at Absa Plaza, 14th floor and 15th floor. God bless you.
right, welcome back. It's getting even more interesting, and now there's the point I'm going to be going into the comment section. And I can't wait to hear from one James Kinyua. I know he has something to say this morning, but then you need to meet James. He's always a phone call away, so you can also guide him on how to dress for, specific, ceremonies. No, he's a very good guy. He dresses really nicely, but I'm not sure if he'd wear a what do you call it? Tuxedo. Yeah. And a bow tie. Right there, just appreciating this morning for one of the best dressed men I know. And now coming back to material, quality, texture. People have said certain, people, and I mean that is the common one, Ankey, or those who come out to then analyze fashion, the fashion corps, etc. So there's certain material that doesn't really look classy. And I do not know if this has anything to do with material at all. Some say polyester looks cheap, so it doesn't meet class. What did you say about what people then would ask classy material and pretty much not classy material?
Okay. So as you said, that's very true. Huh?
Is it?
Yes, it is true actually. Because you see on all these fabrics, different fabrics, we have different components that are used to make the fabric. And like for example, the wool is very expensive, you get. But on if you want to look at like for a suit, the very expensive fabrics and suits, once you look at the suit, there's a way it usually settles on the body very well. And if you look like the other end, like the polyester, especially if it has a very high percentage of polyester, the way even the suits behave after they've been washed, when they're being ironed, they just look off. You can just tell by looking at a suit. These one, like you can literally tell the difference between suits. Like for example, I don't want to mention, but our deputy president, people have been talking about his suits, you get. But no one is talking about, let's say, our president's suits. And both of them are wearing suits. But why are people talking about person A suits and not person B suits, you get? Because at the end of the day, if you do a suit that's not like as appealing, that is not of good fabric and good material, people are going to see. So yes, and but that is usually driven by the budget.
Okay.
You get?
Okay.
Because the things that are good are quite pricey. The things that are not good, I mean, they usually say, like, so the things that are not pricey, like at the end of the day, you get what you pay for.
All right. So classy is really relatively expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Do you also agree with what has commonly been said, cheap is expensive?
Yeah, cheap is expensive because I usually tell my clients, I'm not the only one who is supplying suits, you get.
Yes.
And even out there are so many different types of fabrics ranging on quality.
True.
And for me, I usually have my own principles. I usually tell my clients, it's not like I cannot sell you a suit below this price, but it's just that if someone is to sell you a suit, let's say below, let's say 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000, they're going to compromise on the quality of the suit that is worth that much. And at the end of the day, it's not gonna look good. So I usually tell them, like, let's say I'm doing this suit for you at 20,000, and there's someone else who is doing a suit, let's say it's still navy blue, at let's say 3,000 or 5,000. At the end of the day, my suit for 20,000 maybe is gonna, 5 years down the line, you still have it. But the one who has been, who bought his suit for 5,000, let's say for 5,000, 5 years down the line, it has faded, like, it has torn. So the guy has bought like 10 suits, you get. So at the end of the day, cheap becomes expensive.
True.
Because this one suit has served you for that long time, but this other person, it fades, it tears. So at the end of the day, they keep on. Yes, exactly. And at the end of the day, they will have spent more money than the other guy, and still, all that time, they weren't looking good.
Quite painful.
Yeah,
this
very
entire
painful.
time, you're also not looking good.
Exactly.
So what are you representing?
Exactly.
Let's talk about what we're having here. And I'm going to come to some of the myths, really, because royalty, it's like you have seen the royal women don't dress skimpily. Like, it's quite decent. It's quite a look there. Some would say you look old for your age. There's a way royal people dress, right? Royalty dress. And there's a myth here that says classic style, classic style by them, because most of the classy, styles have a bit of classic feels on it. They're saying classic style doesn't have a place in the 21st century.
Okay.
Is it? Do you? Because I think like sometimes you designers have a touch of an ancient feel, especially for royalty, into the new modern fashion.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't fully agree that the classic style doesn't have a place in the 21st
Yes,
century?
I wouldn't agree. Because, I mean, I feel like every type of outfit fits depending on the one who did it and also the one who is wearing it.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at, you know, the bow tie, the tuxedo. These are things we saw even in, allow me to mention, James Bond movies way then. So there's a classic feel to some of the fashion styles that are now trendy today.
Exactly. Like even if you watch the Peaky Blinders, it has come to fashion. Those are things were the ones that were being worn in the 90s, and right now even people are coming and wearing the trench coats and the jackets all over again. So yeah, I wouldn't say that.
All right. Okay. Now let's shift away from that to this real deal.
Okay.
What are we looking at? I think I really like what that gentleman is wearing. Okay, that gentleman, quote unquote. Could you explain this outfit for us, and if possible, you know, could we stand to actually see you explain that, unbutton and all that, probably?
Okay.
Please.
So,
and where is he dressing to?
Okay. So this guy here, this gentleman here, this is...
He's really tall, by the way.
Yeah, he's very tall. So this is what is called a tuxedo. And tuxedo are outfits such of this type that are usually worn to weddings, function, events. Like, if you look at this guy, he just looks like he's about to attend a wedding.
Exactly.
Yeah, his own wedding. So this is a tuxedo. The tuxedo usually have, like, for example, one of the characteristics of tuxedo is this lapel. Yeah.
Oh, that's what you call it.
Yeah, this one is called a lapel. If you look at this lapel and what I'm wearing, it's very different. So this one looks flashy. It even shows you this outfit is, you know, it's out there, it's bubbly, it matches the celebration kind of vibe. Yeah, exactly. That's why I said, like, you know, even whatever you're wearing has to match the mood and the vibe that, you know, you're using. So this is a tuxedo. This is usually worn by grooms in the weddings, usually even by the groomsmen or someone who's going for a red carpet event.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'd rock such.
And here's the maroon you mentioned earlier on.
Yes.
And you said we could play around with the maroon a little bit for a gentleman.
Yeah.
I see a bit of silver as well.
Yeah.
Now, let me bring you back to, or let me update you on something that I actually saw also on social media. They say there's no way you're going to combine gold and silver. For him, I see gold over here, and this coat has a bit of silver. Don't you think that's a contrast?
First of all, it depends with the silver itself. Because you see, if from afar, if you look at this fabric, the silver isn't coming out.
It's not as loud.
Yeah, it's quite
subtle.
Down. Yeah, it's quite subtle.
Okay.
So that's why I've, you know, tried playing with the gold. But even if you look at the gold, it's not the shouting type of gold. It's just a touch of gold.
Beautiful. A touch of gold. I love that. This bow tie. I have seen people rock bow ties now. In fact, on my way here, I saw quite a number of people peeping into their cars, which is not very good behavior, rocking bow ties. Is it now that it's okay to be classy in the office? In your bow tie?
Yeah, it is, but it depends. It highly depends because different workplaces have different work ethics.
Oh, true.
So it really depends with the work environment, your clientele that you're meeting.
All right.
Yeah, so it really depends with the people you're also associating with.
But you wouldn't fully, you know, say do away with the bow tie. You can't, you know, you only have to rock a bow tie in an occasion, dinner, luncheon, cocktail.
Okay, that.
Or what really goes with the bow tie?
Like you mean the outfit that goes with the bow tie?
And where you're going to represent yourself.
Okay, if you see the bow tie is somehow having that ceremonial representation.
All right.
Yeah. So anytime that you're doing a bow tie, mostly is because you're going to somewhere, you know, where it's ceremonial, a dinner event.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it's not just one of those things you're going to pull, gentlemen, except if you're going to propose to her over lunch, perhaps you'd want to pull that. Can we unbutton him and see what kind of shirt he's wearing in? That is if he allows us. And also there's a bit of detail that I saw on the pants.
Oh yeah, on
you
the
want
side
to
of the pants?
Yeah, on the side of the pants. So perhaps this. We have seen a lot of, you know, legal practitioners wear this shirt. Yes?
Yeah.
Because of course, the nature of the collars.
Yeah.
But what does this really speak, though? I like the details of this shirt. Well, if you were to speak in your own perception as an expert, what this shirt speaks of, what would you say?
Okay, first of all, this shirt, apart from the only people that I've seen wearing these shirts in the corporate world are the lawyers.
Yes, exactly.
But apart from that, it is a ceremonial type of shirt.
Yes.
And it's a type of shirt that you really cannot rock with a tie.
Absolutely
it has to be
not.
with a bow tie, because even if you look at the wing collar of it, it is designed to just hold a bow tie.
Beautiful.
Not a tie. Yeah.
So there's no, you cannot negotiate about this?
No, this one you just do with a bow tie. If you want to rock a tie, you do the shirt. The type of shirt.
He is so firm about it. He's like, don't even ask me any more questions about that.
Yeah.
What about the details on the pants?
So the detail of the pant, this is also a tuxedo pant.
Beautiful.
The tuxedo pants usually have that detail. I just didn't want him to have a plain pant. I just wanted to have a subtle detail.
But you can rock a normal plain pant with a tuxedo if you want.
You can do it with that.
All right,
so
great.
That all goes now to the personality you get
Again.
and the needs of the client. Because you'll get a client who tells you, okay, I want something nice, but I also want something that after the wedding I can also use it to go to work. You see? So if someone tells you, you also have to accommodate the need of the client. You cannot have him such a pant and eventually he wants to go to work with it. So you're just going to have plain.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is also ceremonious.
Yeah, this is ceremonious.
Beautiful. All right. Can we look at this guy? I don't know. I'm curious about maroon. Is this the only color that men would rock and feel like I have gone a notch higher? What are maroon? Why didn't we have this in pink or or purple? Or why is this your preference?
So, first of all, before you construct an outfit, you have to think about it, you get? Because for gold, there are colors that usually match well with gold, and there are some colors that wouldn't match very well with gold. You also have to take that into consideration.
Okay.
So when I was having this design in mind, I had to decide, will the details be silver or gold? So once I decided to pick gold, there are some colors that will have the gold pop up way more. Because if this was to be, let's say, in like baby pink, it wouldn't have looked bold that way than the way the maroon is.
Okay.
Yeah, so
which
you
other
also have to
colors would you play with?
Green also goes
Jungle
very
green
well.
or just green?
Yeah, jungle green usually goes very well with gold.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Now, are there times you could use silver instead of gold on an outfit like this? Because
yeah, you can, but at the end of the day, you're just gonna have, at the end of the day, it's all about how the colors usually marry into each other. Because you cannot just, there are colors you might try and blend, and they are not really blending. And at the end of the day, you might have the same design, but on another color, but it wouldn't look as appealing.
So not only will it be not appealing, but it also will lose the classy touch.
Exactly.
So there's something about colors and its combination that will either achieve the classy look or lose it.
Yes.
All right. It's pull neck, is it?
Yeah.
So is this how you dress this?
Yeah, you can just, because you see one thing,
Yes.
it's always about balance. You get? Because if you're having a blazer with such a detail...
This is a lot of detail.
Exactly. You don't want to have something on the inside that is going to compete with what you have outside. You're gonna have to give it time and the space to shine. Yeah, so you're gonna have to have that balance. So for this outfit, when you're rocking it with the pant, let's say you can just do it with a black pant, or you can just do it with a maroon pant, but very simple. So
Khaki?
No, not really.
That kills it.
Yeah, no, really.
Because we're looking at material as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
maintain the same material,
Okay.
so that you have that blend. Yeah, because let me ask you, the way we were talking about colors.
Yes.
This outfit, this person, if he rocks it with a red pant, he is like, totally.
He's lost it.
Yeah, he's
the
lost
touch of class is gone.
Exactly, but it's the same blazer, the same pull neck, but the pant is the one that's throwing everything out of proportion.
So it's just one thing.
Just one.
If you miss something in your outfit today,
exactly,
you're probably losing the classy touch that you wanted to make. Now, I'm imagining, or maybe I'm too much off. Okay. Could this person rock a white? Would it be too loud with the gold?
Not really.
Because classy isn't loud.
Yeah. Not really, because I usually even advise my clients. You see, like white and black, these are usually like neutral colors, and white and black usually goes with a lot of things. But just because something goes with something, it doesn't mean it's the best one for it. Because even if this is an outfit, let's say, for example, like what you're wearing, of which you're looking very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there is a reason why you had to choose the necklace that you chose. You know, there are way more others options that you did, but you felt like this one is the one that fits way more. So just because something like, you know, matches doesn't mean it's the best one for it.
Okay.
That's why I usually advise people, try and get to work with a designer, try and get to work with someone who knows what they're doing. Because if you just go to the shop, it's good, you can just go and pick, but if you're not really relevant in the styles and all that, you might miss out on a few things. You have a very nice suit, but the shoes you're wearing them with, it throws everything off. Yes.
Wow, it's interesting. They said the guys who wear because they want to dress and the guys who dress and look classy because they want to represent. Where are you coming from? Where are you watching us from? What are your questions this morning? Someone would say, we touched on this. We touched on cheap is expensive and classy can be expensive. But before we get into that, how affordable your stuff are and how to get you, there's another myth that came out that classy outfits are just for snobs. Look, let's just be real. Like a lot of people say, you meet a classy guy, a classy woman out there, they're definitely snobs. Let's see if it's a myth or a fact with you. Let's start with you because you really are classy. So you're a snob.
So not really, I wouldn't say that.
But you've had it.
Yeah, I have had it. I've been told before that I'm a snob. But I think is the way, like I said, your perception. Because someone who looks very good and very classy, people usually find it quite hard to approach them. Because once you just see that guy, you're like, what am I going to tell them? Am I going, like, to say the right thing? It's just like, for example, like meeting a very beautiful woman. It's like they feel unapproachable because of how good they look.
Wait. Let's take that again.
Yeah.
We are about to close the show. Let's take that again.
Okay.
Women, I hope you're watching. You said when the woman is very beautiful, they feel unapproachable.
The men, especially.
The men feel the woman is unapproachable.
Yeah, some men, not all of them, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Some men. What are your thoughts on that? And would you rather not put on the classy feel in the fear that people will not approach you, or just do you and look classy, and then the stereotype of being a snob follows you after? A good question, is it?
Yeah,
How do we find you, really? And when you actually customize this for your clients, because they really have to get it right. The size, the classy feel, you don't want to miss that in the last bit of tailoring. How long does it take to actually have your product, depending on, you can give examples, both for female and for male?
Okay.
Because time is of essence.
Yeah, because it really depends. We usually have suits that can be done like quite very fast. Within 3 to 4 days, they're done. But the processes that we usually put our suits through, very different processes, which also affects the price as well. Because for like let's say the made-to-measure suits, there are some you just once you take the measurements, it's all that, and then you just tailor it to completion, and the client just comes and picks. But they are if you go the bespoke way, you have to make the suit, and then even before you put the arms, the client has to come and they fit.
Again?
Yeah, they come and fit. Like before the outfit ends, the client has done like 3 fittings. You get? And the other one, you just walk in and then you just just wear it and then. So it all depends. Some suits might take 3-4 days. Others might even take a month.
Interesting. So patience is key, discipline, and also commitment.
Exactly.
It's interesting how fashionpreneurs would come out and tell you it's not as easy as you think. To look good, you have to put in effort.
Yes.
And what happens to somebody who is now trying to battle their mind on trying out a new, bolder style? What did you tell them this morning? You said it's good to start and then you'll get the compliments out there, but it's also a banter here. It's a gamble. They might say you look good or you look off. So what would you say really from, for guys watching you back at home, just to build some confidence in that class is not really, something that chooses people. You have to choose it.
Yeah, like I told you, it's all a risk. You get?
As we wrap up,
Yeah, it's all a risk, but it's good to have, to get a smart dress. That's why I told you,
Yeah.
go online, try and, the people who usually look up, try and see how they usually dress. Even if it's not the color that you're usually comfortable in, try and look like, let's say Mr. Royalty, how does he usually dress? And then try to copy. As much as you're going beyond your border, you also have something that you've seen you're trying to replicate. So at the end of the day, it won't backfire on you if it didn't backfire on them. You get it?
Oh, nice. It wouldn't backfire on you if it didn't backfire on them.
Exactly.
But for us women, it might backfire on you.
Yeah, it might. That's why I told you.
It's a risk.
Ladies is very challenging because also the body shape, the size and all that. So if you're trying to copy someone, try and copy someone.
Who similarly
if you're inspired by someone, try and be inspired by someone who is, like, you know, similarly according to, like, you know, your shape, your size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, guys. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Royalty.
Thank you.
We look forward to another conversation. And John Mekweka ukisimama, but
No, it's okay,
you know, you're part of this crew here.
Yeah,
And guys, I hope this has been helpful to you. Remember, you can go all out and stay classy, all right? 3 colors maximum if you have to play with the colors. Just be very careful. No oversize. Well, he said you can pull it, but he wouldn't really advise that. It's not really a touch of class to be oversized, but for women, by the way, I'm actually rocking an oversize.
Yeah,
it could work for women. Let me know what your thoughts are and what you expect next Wednesday on the show. But for now, my name is Ankey Dorice. But stay classy, you deserve it. Simba Charles Kiage coming in to let you know if your pocket would allow you to then go and meet Mr. Royalty shortly after this breather. This is The Morning Drift.